AI is the talk of the town nowadays. Every organization wants to implement AI because they also want the efficiency gains, save time, save money, maybe have to hire less people. And because of that, your board has asked you, hey, we are an organization that prioritizes governance, so let's draw up an AI policy. And you thought, okay, great. You went home, you looked on the internet, you downloaded the templates, and you were like, okay, I'm just going to write this quickly for my organization. And what ends up happening, it doesn't work in practice. In this video, I will tell you exactly why that is and what you have to do instead in order to have an operationally working AI policy for your Caribbean organization. Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Aisha, where I talk everything digital transformation inside of the Caribbean. I have spent over 2.5 years shipping AI products, and I also work with Caribbean companies on their AI governance. And we've recently shipped an AI policy in one of them. So I will take the direct insights that I also received from that process so I can help you understand what is the difference between creating and implementing an AI policy for your Caribbean organization. Let's get into it. So the first thing you have to understand is why just copying and pasting AI policy frameworks doesn't work for your Caribbean organization. And it's different reasons. So one of the reasons has to do with digital maturity. A lot of these companies in Europe, in the United States that are creating these policy templates, as you can see, it's really detailed. Like they will talk about IT infrastructure, they will talk about all of these different risks, which I will talk about in a bit as well. And they will come up with a very complex way of governing AI systems inside of a company. And when you look at that and you try to copy and paste, it doesn't work. These companies are functioning at a different level of digital maturity. A lot of the times, the higher your digital maturity is, so meaning you are leveraging technology inside of your internal operations, the more complex your AI governance needs to be. Why? Because someone that is high digital maturity is already leveraging technology a lot in their operational processes and other processes. So when you add AI on top of that, there's already a high level of automation, meaning that you will need much more deeper oversight. Whereas for the Caribbean, for the most part, a lower digital maturity means that you don't have that high level of integration yet of technology into your processes. So when you copy that framework of the company that has more complex operations, it simply does not fit your reality, and it ends up becoming an AI policy that looks good on paper but doesn't work in practice. So that is one of the reasons why this copy and pasting doesn't work. The other reason is related to that, but it's a little bit different, and it's related to risk. So if you've seen my previous video where I talked about the tax administration and how they thought, okay, the lower digital maturity, the lower the risk, so they didn't have a contingency plan in place. This is also related to risk. In AI, the AI Act, such a funny word to say, you the European Union AI Act stipulates that your organization needs to be very clear on the types of use cases that you are going to use, and that the more risky the use case is, the more governance you need over this AI system. What's important to understand here is this fits very well within the context of high digital maturity because, as I said, the more embedded automation, AI is in your operations, the more mature you are and the more you're going to keep increasing the use cases. But for a lot of Caribbean organizations, the way they're using AI is very limited. So we're talking about ChatGPT, for example, using ChatGPT to write up an email. Because of that, implementing or copying and pasting the EU AI Act doesn't make sense, okay? Because they are really looking at use case risk, whereas in the Caribbean, our context, our understanding of risk needs to be much broader. And the reason why is because we are already a few years behind with digitalization, and then AI came and it was like, whoa, now AI is here. but we haven't even digitalized. So our AI policies need to take this into account. And what that means for our understanding of risk is that we have to look at risk in a much broader sense. We have to look at the risk, the financial risk that comes with implementing AI systems. A lot of people think, hey, we're going to save a lot of money from implementing AI. But if your organization has low digital maturity, it's actually going to cost you a bit more money because you have to make a few steps before you can fully integrate AI into your operation. So there is financial risk. That's number one. The second thing is, as we just discussed, because you are low in digital maturity, there is more risk for cyber attacks, for example. So you cannot just plug in any system into your data, meaning that when you are evaluating your AI policy, you have to take into account your current IT infrastructure and what that looks like so that you can properly map what the risk is. And then, of course, comes the risk of use cases itself. So this is not something you're going to find in these templates that you download online because they don't understand the context of the Caribbean. I do. And because I went through that process as well of implementing it, I can tell you that it's not, you cannot just copy paste. So the shift that you have to make is to move away from implementing already existing frameworks and actually designing a framework that makes more sense given the organizational context that you're functioning in, the maturity level of your people. So, what is their attitude towards AI, right? So, if you have an organization with older people, people that maybe it's going to take them a bit longer to want to even use AI, you have a different starting point compared to an organization that is potentially much younger in age and that is super excited to just use everything AI. Then you also have a different starting point. Your IT infrastructure, what type of monitoring, your IT infrastructure, what type of monitoring do you already have in place or can you put in place in order to make sure that your data is secure? Okay? The other thing you have to think about is how are you going to mitigate the financial risk that is going to come with leveraging AI systems? There is a very specific way to do that. How are you going to make sure that everyone is aligned? And most importantly, how are you going to make sure that the AI systems and the use of AI and that whole process is properly governed? Who are the people that own this process? Who are the people that are responsible, accountable, that are being consulted, and that have to be informed, right? So the RACI principle. So an AI policy in the Caribbean be based on the same principles, but it's going to look completely different than just copying and pasting templates online. So, if you have been handed AI policy as the problem that you have to solve, and you just want it to be high quality and actually work in practice, you should reach out to me and I will give you guidance on this. So, there is a link in my bio. Go ahead and book a call. There's no pressure, there's no expectations. It's good for us to also get to know each other. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.